Survival horrors can come in many shapes and forms, whether it's a side-scroller, third or first-person adventure, and even visual novels. Today we're going to look at the good old fixed camera survival horror and tank controls popularised by the classic titles of the Resident Evil series. We'll be looking at The Mute House, a love letter to these classic game mechanics where fixed camera angles, inventory management, tank controls, puzzle solving and surviving the horrors that await you are what you'll be expecting. The Mute House introduces you to the game by having you play as Amber Newsom, a teenage girl out for the night having fun with her friends, despite having been told that there have been some disappearances in the area by her older sister Emily. Amber ends up being chased by a maniac and ends up at the grounds of a mansion in the woods. Amber makes her way inside the mansion, which doubles as the game's tutorial to get you used to the controls. Several days after this event, you play the role of Emily Newsom, Amber's older sister, as well as a county policewoman as she discovers the mansion and decides to explore it. Very soon, Emily finds that she's not alone in the mansion and must solve various puzzles and defeat the creatures in the mansion in order to find and rescue her sister. But is the game any good? Find out in The Good. If there's one thing the game has absolutely nailed, it's the atmosphere. Throughout the whole game, I had generally felt uneasy about the surroundings. There are some classic paintings or parts of paintings that you'll come across throughout the game, such as Henry Fuseli's The Nightmare, or well, a 1790 variation of it, or Nicholas Regnier's Sleeper Awakened by a Young Woman with Fire, to name a couple of examples. The latter is used very effectively, as only the woman is shown in the painting used in the game, and it's very disturbing given that the painting is positioned in a way that when it's on screen, it's looking directly at you, the player, which sets you up for the atmosphere that you'll be dealing with for the rest of the game. The types of artwork and the clever use of the fixed camera in these instances certainly worked in the game's favour, and on a first playthrough can have you on edge. The music and ambient sounds also add to the tension and really sets the mood, and when it's not tension building, it's a moment of calm when you're in a save room. The save room also has a cat in it which Emily can pet, which is an added bonus too. The game's atmosphere is easily its strongest point, and kudos to the developer, since to pull that off you really need to know how to position things and use just the right assets, level of lighting, ambience and sound to set it all up. The game's mechanics are heavily inspired by the Resident Evil games, and inventory management is pretty important. Emily will begin with a pistol and game instructions, and ammunition can be found lying all over the place. If anything, I feel the game is quite generous with it. However, the kicker is, ammunition does not stack, so each time you pick up ammunition it will take up a separate slot in your inventory, and early in the game Emily can only carry 6 items, which makes management important. In save rooms you can put away your excess items, however the items you put in storage can only be retrieved from that room, so you'll also need to remember where you keep things too. While Emily can reload her weapons, if the weapon is not empty, the clip with the remaining ammo will be dropped on the ground. You can check how much ammo you have in your gun by aiming it and pressing a button. Emily's pistol also has a laser sight you can activate, which is very handy for aiming at particular things, or in the case of enemies, their heads, as this can often kill regular enemies in one hit and save on bullets. If you see a corpse in a room, it may not hurt to aim and shoot them in the head, as they may reanimate later, and by doing so, this can prevent future problems from coming up. Emily can heal herself with health kits and leeches, but the trade-off with leeches is that Emily will be unable to run for a short period of time while she is being healed. I really enjoyed the experience with the game, but there were also things I didn't like, so let's look at those in The Bad. I feel the game has an over-reliance on enemies that can instantly kill you. While I can understand it's to make the game more tense and to punish mistakes, a couple of them I did find a little frustrating. One involves exploring the 3rd floor of the mansion, where the enemies in that area are sensitive to light and sound, so Emily's flashlight or a gunshot would alert them, and they would instantly kill you if they grabbed you. Some of the moves you can make can be a fatal mistake, as even going into the wrong room and picking up an item can effectively screw you over, as it might make one of those monsters move into the doorway. The other one is towards the end of the game, where you have to flick a series of switches. After you flick the first one, a boss enemy will chase you, and if he catches you, you guessed it, he will instantly kill you. The last save point is a small distance away, and if you hadn't solved the floor puzzle at the time you saved, you're going to have to do that again, which, you guessed again, will kill you instantly if you get it wrong. This sequence where the boss enemy is chasing you is where the fixed camera view can work against you, as you can struggle to see where the boss is in the small cramped areas, and you need to defeat the boss in order to leave. Did I also mention there's explosive tanks in one section of the room? Setting them off can hurt the boss, but if you're too close, you can die from it, and it also leaves a part of the room on fire, which can limit where you can go to stay away from the boss while you take him out. Also, the game won't pause while you go into your inventory, so if you need to go into it, make sure you can do so safely. While these were frustrating moments in the game, once you get a pattern and strategy down, they aren't as much of a problem. I feel the game is a little on the short side, especially on subsequent playthroughs. Once you know the puzzle solutions and item locations, the game can easily be beaten in under a couple of hours. While the game does give an opportunity to reward you for beating it again on the harder difficulty and completing a certain task while doing it, I feel that a randomizer of items or even enemy placements would certainly add to the replay factor and even keep you on your toes. Though in saying that, the hard mode of the game does add additional enemies to certain locations, make them harder to kill and hit harder. Even having new types of enemies show up on a second playthrough would make things really interesting, or having randomised puzzle solutions on each playthrough. But in terms of length, for a first playthrough I think the length of the game is fair, and the reward for going the extra mile and meeting a certain requirement in hard mode is good too, though once you've beaten the game twice, even with that reward, there's no real incentive to go back and dabble with it on a third playthrough. I think that's everything, so let's wrap things up with the opinion. I enjoyed my time with the Mute House. It really gave me classic Resident Evil vibes, and the game's atmosphere is absolutely on point. The fixed camera definitely shines with the game's creative use of artwork and environment, but it can also work against it at times. The mechanics are welcome for anyone familiar with classic Resident Evil, and I feel that people who enjoyed the original Resident Evil trilogy will get some mileage out of this game. It is a little on the short side, and there can be an over-reliance on instant kill enemies to add to the frustration, but in the grand scheme of things, I feel the good aspects of the game certainly outweigh the bad. Interested to see where the developer goes from here. They know what seems to work in terms of an effective survival horror that, while is a love letter to classic Resident Evil, can distinguish itself in its own right. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give the Mute House the cat in a save room next to the save lantern out of 10. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to like, comment and subscribe for more. You can check out our other videos or follow us on X, Instagram and Facebook. Once again, thank you for watching.